What's going on, everyone? So Los Angeles Lakers laid an absolute dud yesterday against the San Antonio Spurs. 13 points. 13 points in the fourth quarter. You were up 10, with 4 minutes left in the third, and got outscored by 40 the rest of the way, and had a 30-point swing. It's uncalled for, right? I don't know how people watch these games and don't think we need a Zach LaVine. Look, I have been a big Zach LaVine guy. I have talked about Zach LaVine heavily, talked about it all the way through the offseason, all the way till now. And it just is more and more and more apparent. We need that offensive firepower. We need that guy. Austin Reaves. People keep telling me I'm wrong about Austin Reaves. Yet Austin Reaves just keeps proving me right. People keep telling me I'm an Austin Reaves hater. Again, I don't hate Austin Reaves. I'm just pointing out his inconsistency. You don't know what Austin Reaves is going to show up. He's not a third option. He's not a consistent scorer. He doesn't do a lot of things well. He's a liability on the defensive side. He doesn't give you consistency on the offensive side. He doesn't shoot the ball consistently. He's not a point guard. He doesn't handle ball pressure well. All of these things are not my opinion. All of these things are facts, right? Imagine Zach LaVine in the Austin Reaves role. Imagine having Zach LaVine playing that role. And Zach LaVine being that guy on a nightly basis that he's been all season. He literally doesn't even have to adjust. It's like everything you're doing in Chicago right now, yeah, do that here. Go give us a 30 a night, right? You need it. LeBron James can be that third guy, be that Magic Johnson role. Right? I would love to go get an IO in the deal. I would trade Austin Reaves if I had to at this point, right? Lakers need a shakeup. I think two things need to happen. I think either A, the Lakers need that big shakeup guy, like I said, a Zach LaVine, or a Vucevic and a Brown or something like that, where it's you're getting two high-end pieces. Or you need to basically redo your back five guys, right? Literally. Either A, you need to go get a Zach LaVine or a Vu and a Brandon Ingram or a Vu and a Bruce Brown, something like that. Or you need to go get an IO with a Josh Green and a Nick Richards and a Cody Martin, right? Get another 3 to 4 guys that just give you the athleticism, give you the collective, everybody together to completely change the landscape of this team. Or you could just go get Zach LaVine and he could do all those things. People talk about depth. What depth? We don't have depth now to begin with, right? People talk about, but you're giving up guys that who? Who are we giving up? Right? Right now you could do let's just focus on Zach LaVine for a moment. Right? You could do Rui, Gabe Vincent, Jared Vanderbilt, Jalen Hood-Schifino, and, a vet minimum. Cam Reddish, right? Maybe you have to find a third team or whatever to take on a guy or two to waive guys, whatever. Who cares? Figure it out, right? Out of those 5 guys, who are you really losing? Right? Jalen Hood-Schifino is not going to be a rotation guy probably ever for the Lakers. Right? Cam Reddish, I like him defensively, but he gives you nothing else. I don't think it's the end of the world if you lose him. Right? Jared Vanderbilt hasn't played all season, although I'm a big Jared Vanderbilt guy, and I would like to see him on the court, but I think Zach LaVine changes the landscape of this team more. And Gabe Vincent, cardio Gabe? Are you really missing out anything by losing Gabe Vincent? Is that really the end of the world? The only guy you could argue, could suck, and I still don't think it's that big of a deal, is Rui. You lose Rui. But I'd take Zach LaVine over Rui all day, right? If you told me right now, hey, you could take Rui or Zach LaVine, who would you take, right? Remove contracts, all that stuff. Just straight up, who would you take, Rui or Zach LaVine? It's Zach LaVine all day. Rui's not better than Zach LaVine, right? My problem is that I don't know if the Lakers would do that. Right? Lakers supposedly inquired about it, and the talks went nowhere, and they died down fast. I think you need to pick those talks back up. Right? I think you need to be on the phone and be like, what do we got to do to get this done? Right? If you told me you turned in a perfect world, let's say, if you told me you turned Austin Reaves, Rui Hachimura, Gabe Vincent, and Jared Vanderbilt, plus whatever little filler, right? But essentially those four guys, Austin Reaves, Rui Hachimura, Gabe Vincent, Jared Vanderbilt. Those four guys into like an Io, Zach LaVine, a Nick Richards, and a like Cody Martin or something like that. Or even like Dalen Terry or a Torrey Craig. I would prefer that more than those four guys we have right now. Zach LaVine is better than all those guys. Then you add in an Io, who's a 24-year-old, versatile, athletic combo guard that you could slot. Like, literally, you could go Io, LaVine, Dorian Finney-Smith, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis. And then have Nick Richards off the bench and have a Torrey Craig and all these. Like, if you told me you could pull something like that off, I would be all for it. Right? Like, all day, including Sunday. Right? Like, Lakers need to do something. Because, again, like, we took a week off to just get blown out by the Spurs on our home court and score 13 points in the fourth quarter. 13 points. We were up. It looked like we were about to run away with this game, and it went the complete other direction. Do we score 13 points with Zach LaVine? Honest, Zach LaVine probably scores 13 by himself in the fourth quarter. Zach LaVine beat the Spurs by himself. Literally. You don't think he shows up and balls out again? Right, people keep telling me we don't need Zach LaVine. Zach LaVine isn't the answer. Zach LaVine isn't the guy. Well, then who is? Right? If you don't win a championship with Zach LaVine, at least you tried. Who else is coming in and is that big ceiling raiser? Right? My dream scenario, and I said this dating back to the offseason, Dorian Finney-Smith, Zach LaVine, Walker Kessler. Those were the three guys I wanted and I thought would be the perfect trade deadline, right? We got Dorian Finney-Smith. So we're 33% of the way there, right? We got 1/3 of the way there. But Zach LaVine is still a possibility. Walker Kessler might be a little rough, but Zach LaVine is still a possibility. At this point, I'd give whatever you got to give up to get Zach LaVine. Get Zach LaVine, right? I wouldn't really want to give up a first to go get Zach LaVine, but if you do, you got to do it. And if you keep Austin Reaves, fine. I'm okay with that, but you need to bring Austin Reaves off the bench. At that point, you need to go Zach LaVine, Max Christie, Dorian Finney-Smith, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis, because Austin Reaves is too much of a defensive liability, right? And you need that defense. Between Zach LaVine, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis, you have more than enough offense in your starting unit. You need Max Christie and Dorian Finney-Smith for their 3-and-D ability, right? Their ability to knock down the three ball and defend multiple positions, right? Again, however you feel. I've seen people, Zach LaVine, defensively, he's not great. He's not worse than Austin Reaves. And he gives you the offensive output to balance out the lack of defense, which, by the way, every year he's either at or slightly better than league average, right? So, again, I would take that all day because he's going to give you the offensive output and production on a regular basis, right? Does he have bad games? Sure. Everyone has bad games. But his bad games are fewer and far between. Where Reaves, it's 5 great games, 5 bad games. Zach LaVine's going to give you 8 to 9 great games and, 1 or 2 bad games. Right? That's the difference. But that's the difference between you winning 8 out of your 10 games. Right? It gives you a guy that can close down the stretch, that you can count on a nightly basis, that can give you scoring. He's been healthy all this season. He's looked fantastic, right? People, what if he gets injured again? What if he does? Right? You can't, if you're making decisions solely based on injury, then you should just not run basketball teams because no player in the league is playing 82 games every season. Right? Obviously, there's guys that are healthier than others, but you got to take a chance on somebody. You got to take a swing one way or another. Something has to give here. Something has to be done. Right? You got to find something to do in order to change the landscape of this team because the team right now, as it's currently constructed, it's not going anywhere. Right? I still think they make the playoffs. I still think, they'll be a solid team. They'll turn it around and go on a 4 or 5 game win streak at some point. But them being a contender, I don't buy it. I've said it all season. Right? Do they have a puncher's chance? Sure. You got LeBron James and Anthony Davis, but realistically, you're not winning a championship. I don't think anyone is a juggernaut, particularly in the West. Even OKC, I don't think is a juggernaut. They're really good. Don't get me wrong, very good. But Again, I don't think they're like unbeatable. Like, I don't think there's any KD to the Warriors good, right? So I think the Lakers have a chance against guys, but I also, in the same breath, wouldn't be shocked they got swept by anybody, right? Like, I could see the Lakers winning a series, but in the same breath, I could see the Lakers literally getting swept by every team, right? It's just like, because again, you don't know which Laker team is going to show up. You don't know if you're going to get the Lakers team that's going to ball out and, get you what you need, or you're going to get the Lakers team that's just going to be absolute poo, right? Like, it's just, go get Zach LaVine. Go get Zach LaVine. It's that simple. Go get Zach LaVine. But anyway, my rant's over. I just wanted to get that out. Wanted to talk about Zach LaVine because he was looking great last night. Right? I was just watching that Spurs game, just like, man, Zach LaVine might have been able to save this. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. Pass question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel with your thoughts? Do you agree with me? Disagree with me? Kind of mixed in the middle? However you feel, whatever your thoughts are. I'd love to hear it either way, so let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot, so we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.